Welcome back to the Love Talk Show, and today we're starting a once-a-month series called The Good and the Bad. In these shows, we'll have couples sharing with us the good and the bad experiences they've had throughout their lives up to the beginning of their marriage. And how these experiences shaped them and molded them somehow.
Yeah, how it influenced them, their decisions about love.
Yeah.
How the way that they saw other people relating to each other molded them and taught them how to relate themselves to other people. And one thing that is interesting, as we were talking about this topic, I was remembering a conversation I had with one of my friends some time ago. And she was saying that she's from a certain country and her father is, but her mother is from a different nationality. And she said that growing up, she promised herself, I'm never going to marry a man from my father's country. Never. Because the men she knew from that country, including her father, were womanizers. You know, her uncles, her friends, her father, so they were famous for being unfaithful. So she promised herself, I am never going to marry a man like that. She did, in the end. She did, but it just shows how that even influences your choices. It's not that she had an experience herself with that kind of man, but she's seen it.
Yeah, and it's so bad that she labeled every single man from that country, every single man as a womanizer.
You see?
You see how examples, and now we're talking about family, parents, you know, in general, how these examples can really make a difference in a person's life. You know, I believe that she learned intelligent love. And that's why she married
accepted
a man from her father's country. But you see, she was determined not to, to do that at all, which is not true. Because these men who she's married to today, this man proves to her that's not true. No, that's not a pattern. That there can be men in that country who are decent, who will treat her more, more
decently.
care, more decently, and etc. So this is what we want to achieve through these shows once a month, to prove to you that examples can mold you, and yes, they can mold you in a bad way, but they, in a good way, but they also can mold you in a bad way.
Even when you don't want to, because there are things, I'm sure all of us can relate, that you saw in some of your relatives, perhaps even your parents, that you didn't like, something particular, a kind of behavior that you didn't like, and you said, I'm never gonna be like that. And then what happened? When you are in a similar situation, you realize, I'm the same way. I react the same way. Why? Because it's what you've seen. You've been trained almost to behave like that.
And I tell you more, in spite of the good examples, unfortunately, bad ones stick around.
It's the bad that stick.
They are the ones that stick around you, and they stick to your mind. They don't go away. They're bad ones.
Indeed.
So in order to help us shed some light on today's topic, we have here in studio a very lovely, and according to some people, very cute couple.
I agree.
Thank you. Rennan and Carla. You guys doing all right?
Very good.
Thank you.
How long have you been married?
So almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. Good. So let's start then with Carla. Ladies first, right? So Carla, share with us a little bit about good and bad examples in your life as you're growing up, seeing family members around you, I don't know, having a good marriage or maybe bad relationships. I don't know, just tell us a little bit how it was for you.
For me, as I grew up, my family, my parents were always a great example for me. They were very caring, loving, and also very disciplined. Like everything had to be, very disciplined. And that's one thing that I got with me. One thing that they did was an open book. They never hid anything from me. So, situations and things, we'd always sit together, we would talk about it. And it's something that I really like, because we never felt like scared to say anything, because we knew that we had always, when we go home, we always had someone that we could talk to and that we could relate to. They were always a loving couple, and we always saw that we could trust in them and everything. So I brought that with me So yeah, when I got married.
How did you see your mother treating the dad, the family, her role in general as a wife or a mother? What did you see in her?
I saw a mother very caring. She was overly caring. She liked to always, you know, have everything straight and organized and disciplined, and always offering us things. Like all the time, she used to call all the time and say, "How are you doing?" Sometimes I was at school, she'd send a text, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" So, and sometimes she'd come and get us at school, and she would be there buzzing, "Beep beep, I'm here," like for everyone to know. So she was always that mother that was very caring and loving and very understanding as well. Even though sometimes she was very busy, but she would always make a way to be present, even though because of work and things, she would always send a message or try to have everything organized for us when we came. And also she was very, she taught us how to be a housewife. One thing that sometimes it's hard to do, she used to make sure that I would do things like we had a lady that used to take care of us, and she'd say, "Don't do her room, okay? She needs to do her room." And then she used to come and check if everything was neat and organized. And
so in spite of her busy schedule, should make sure that you always have some time off to teach you guys to how to look after the house and so on and so forth, right?
And how to be organized and so
was there any particular event that you witnessed between your parents that kind of stood out for you? I don't know, maybe a situation in which they had to argue about it, but they argue in a good way, in a proper manner. Something that a particular behavior or approach to a particular situation that you saw, you said that this is the way to go. I don't know, anything in particular that you can remember.
Yeah, well, my dad, he's very calm. My mom is already all the bursting.
Okay, so your dad is the calm one, and your mother is the one a bit more fiery.
Yes, very fiery.
Because that happens in every relationship. Yeah. We have both sides, right? Yes. That's how one completes the other, right? They are not the same. They are not equal.
In our case, who is the fiery and who is
Let's
the
move on. Later on, we'll talk about it.
So she was very imposing, and even though there were situations that I've witnessed, like I saw them, even though she was very explosive, and they sometimes had some arguments, which is normal, and she used to sometimes discuss in front of us, and he was so calm. Like I take it as, my mom and dad are examples. My dad, the way he used to deal with the situation, maybe because she was like, do this, do that, very imposing. And sometimes he had to put her in her place. But the way he used to speak, like, patient, and that for me stood out, like the way that he used to speak to her, patient, calm, and know how the words to say.
Right.
Because she used to be like, you have to do this. He used to get home, he wants to be calm, and she used to go, no, do this, you cannot do that, take off your shoes, do this. So then, that used to sometimes cause like an argument there between them, like something so simple that used to turn into something big. So I kind of like always put that in my mind. I can't be like this, when I come into a relationship, when I get married, I cannot. But then I'll tell you the rest.
So when push comes to shove,
it's another story.
Yeah. So your father's approach to an argument was something that stood out for you.
Yes.
Right? His calm demeanor, his calm words.
Yes.
That set a good example to you, right?
And set the bar very high, I can presume. To Rennan.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get into that later. Because if you had your example of a man, of a husband, was like that.
Yes.
Was of a calm man who listens. So for sure you would look for the same, like that's how a husband should be. He should be calm, he should be patient with me. So we'll see if it happens.
See if Rennan comes along.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Let's see how it turns out later on. So we're gonna go for a quick break, and after the break we're gonna come back and then see Rennan's side of the story right now, how the good and bad examples molded him. Okay, don't go anywhere, stay with us.